This month I read 2,681 pages. I went 3 for 3 and I read 3 fantasy books and 3 romance books. This reading month was not kind to me. Yeah, it was not kind. Oh well, whatever. It's fine. We're gonna start with the books that I most recently read and go backwards because my highest ratings, let's start on a positive note. This one is fresh on my mind. I literally just finished it today. Today is the 28th. Just finished Fairy Tale. A moment for the cover. She's breathtaking, beautiful. The font though, super small. I urge you to read the author's note as well as the trigger warnings in the beginning. I'll just put the trigger warnings up here for you. And in the author's note, she basically does say that before proceeding, there are a few disclaimers to address. If you're looking for a typical romance book, this isn't it. This is a long journey, and by that I mean almost 1,000 pages. If you're not a fan of complex narrative threads, lengthy books, or extreme slow burns, this will not be the book for you. And then basically she goes on to say, don't skim this book because you will find yourself lost in the plot. Lost in the sauce, if you will. And I mean, I completely agree. This is not a book that you skim. So much happens, and where you start at the beginning of this book is not where you end up. Just from reading the back and the first 200 pages, you would not think it goes the way that it does. But this book is about Darcy. She was an orphan. Her mother died when she was really young. She never knew her mother, and she grew up with the nuns, and now she is a teacher. She gets a letter informing her that she has like a long lost father that she never knew of because her mother never told her about him. He has died and has set her up with an inheritance, but she does have to be present for the reading of the will. And so this journey starts off her going to Fairytale. It's super, like, looking back at it, so much happens, and you're just like, the way that the book ends up, you're just like, it's so different from how you start the book. I gave this book a 3 stars. The first 300 or so pages, I was so invested. I was reading, enunciating perfectly every single word. I was invested in the plot. I was coming up with theories. I was so into it. And then eventually I just kind of fell off because the more you learn, you're able to like guess a few things, or like you're like, oh, a few of my theories came to fruition. And the easiest way to explain this without giving a single spoiler is that the book loses momentum. As you're reading, it loses what makes it so interesting in the beginning, that mystery aspect. At a certain point, I felt that it just kind of lost that element. But overall, the love story in this book is incredible. And it was my favorite part of the book. And that's what kept me going when maybe I didn't find the mystery so enticing. Because at first I was all for the mystery. I was like, trust no one, take names, and remember every single thing that happens. That was my first impression, like the first couple 100 pages. And then I was like, wait a minute. Now the only thing that was left for me was the love story. And it is a really, like, how much they love each other in this book is incredible. You can feel it. If you want an epic love story, I feel like that's what this is. I feel like this is such an epic love story that lost the plot along the way for me. But at the end of the day, amazing love story. Next up, we have The Shield of Sparrows. I actually did a whole video, a reading vlog on this. This book was so good and refreshing to me. And I did do like a little disclaimer that I did give it 5 stars. But right before this, I had read 3 books and gave them all 2 stars. So I was like in dire need. This book was so entertaining to me. In comparison to a lot of the romanticities that are going around and that I've been seeing or even read like recently or been hearing about, it was refreshing. No trials. Our main character is she's older than 18. She's 24. It was so refreshing. Our main character, she is not your typical, like, I've been trained since birth, warrior. It it's just refreshing. That's the only word that I have for this book, refreshing. I'm tired of trials. I'm tired of children, an adult woman. That's all I ask of you. This book follows Odessa. She is the daughter of one of the kings. They have like a kingdom where it's separated and there's multiple kings. She is the oldest daughter, but not the favorite daughter, not the chosen one. Her mother died when she was younger, so her father did remarry. And it's safe to say no one in the family really cares for her, thinks that she's capable of much. They are just like, she's stupid and boring and we hate her. Rude. But they really do try to mute her personality, having her dress in all gray. They make her dye her naturally red hair. They really paint her out to be the odd one out, essentially, which is so important to the plot. It's such a big part of her character, just learning that she actually is all these things that they think she isn't, and that people can value her. Like, that's a huge part of the plot, and I do love that journey. So we're following Odessa the whole time. The main plot of the story is that her sister was trained since birth to be the Sparrow, and the Sparrow is a treaty where all the kingdoms, their daughters are married off to the other kings, and basically it is a contract sealed with blood magic that protects the realm, keeps them from having wars, keeps the kingdom alive and thriving. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. So her sister was trained since birth to be the Sparrow. She knows how to fight. She understands the kingdom she's going to be married off to. She understands their customs, their language, like stuff like that. She was also trained in the bedroom, so she's had a lot of training done to become the Sparrow. The prince came to town. All that kind of just went up into smoke because he was like, I don't want your sister, I want her. Like, I want Odessa. I don't care for May. Don't care, don't want her, I want Odessa. And so that is where the story begins, and everyone's like, ew, why? And even she's like, ew, why? And like, she's constantly having this, why would you pick me? Why would you not pick her? Type of thing. It was so refreshing to me. Like, I know so many people are saying that it's like TikTok trash, like, oh, it's so boring and stupid, but I had the best time. This was so refreshing to me. I feel like every fantasy book, every romantasy book is just so riddled with tropes and who did this to you, and just and trials and badass female characters who are already perfect. I want to follow someone who goes through a growth journey. It's not fun to read about these characters who've been trained since birth, who are the best at their craft, and then there's no growth journey. There's nothing for them to learn. It's just, I'm already the best, time to show everyone I'm the best. Unless you do it right, which very few people do, it's not fun. It's not fun anymore. This was fun to me. Okay, I have to move on. I'm gonna shut up. And everyone's like, okay, we get it. You had a good time. I read Our Infinite Fates. I also did a video on this from what my husband picks for me to read, and he picked this book. He thought it seemed super interesting. Basically, the whole premise of the book is that Evelyn and Arden, they are reincarnated in every life, and they have to kill each other in each one. The whole book, you're trying to figure out, why are we doing this? What's the reason? Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they love each other, sometimes they don't. And it's chaotic, and that is why I gave it 2 stars. This had so much promise. Even, like, it literally says, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue meets This Is How You Lose the Time War, which I have not read, but I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue right before I read this. So that was not a good comparison to make for someone who just read that book, okay? No, this book was interesting. The problem with it is that there were too many lives shown to us. And I think had we cut down on the lives and focused more on either the journey or the relationships within a few lives instead of so many. Like, there are so many lifetimes in this book. We could have cut them down and put more information into those lifetimes instead of having so many. Like, this is not a long book, and I swear to God, there's like 50 lives in here. The ending of the story, I didn't feel like the payoff was worth it. It was not worth all that, in my opinion. Lackluster It was kind of boring. I didn't care. Okay. All right. Let's go on a tangent. This was also a problem that I had with Fairytale. If you're gonna write a book and the whole book we're working towards this goal, we're trying to figure something out, stop someone, save a kingdom, whatever we're working towards, if it can be solved in 20 pages or less, what was the book for? What was the book for? Why are we having this whole book and then solving the problem like that? That's not fun for me. I worked this whole book. The payout wasn't worth it and the problem was solved so quickly. It was just like, okay. That's all I have to say about that. Now, moving on to romances that I read. I've read quite a few romances. This is the last physical copy I will have. Everything else I read on Libby. So I read Same Time Next Summer. I also gave this book 2 stars. This book was not... I didn't like it. This book is about Sam. She is engaged to a doctor, Jack, and basically she is one of those routine people where her life is planned down to when she's gonna eat, sleep, and take a crap. Like, every single moment of her life is planned. And she is marrying Sam, who she thinks that she loves. Thinks. That was our first problem. That was the first problem. She's not even sure if she loves him. Like, I don't know. Okay, and then the whole thing is her going home for the summer. Her high school sweetheart, Wyatt, is gonna be there. All we know is that they ended on bad terms. It was so extensive that it basically changed the course of her life. That's where we're starting. The emotional cheating in this book was insane, and it was one of the biggest reasons why I gave this book 2 stars. And considering when you find out why they broke up, and then this whole book, we're playing that dangerous game. I did not enjoy this book. I honestly probably would have given it 1 star, but like, it was fine. I read the whole thing. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it, but like, some aspects of it I was like, okay, maybe it'll get better. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's not like it was bad writing or anything. It was just I personally did not enjoy the contents of this book at all. But since the writing wasn't bad, I was like 2 stars. But like, I didn't have fun. I didn't have a good time. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Because she knows that Sam is not the guy for her and drags this on for this whole book. It's not that many pages, but it's too many pages for me. I feel like I'm being a little aggressive. Sorry. And after that, I read Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, and I was really... I was so disappointed in this book. I was so disappointed because I just read Not Another Love. It's right there, you can't even see it. I just read Not Another Love Song by her, and it was so good. It was so good. This book is about a wedding planner who is given her first big shot at planning like a famous person's wedding, and she's like, this is my moment. This will make me stand out in the industry. Everything has to go to plan. But the one problem is the florist that they pick is her ex-boyfriend. So that's the whole book, like them trying to plan this wedding together, and it is a past and present timeline, which I did not realize when I started reading it. It's like one of my biggest problems with the book. My biggest problem with this book is that their entire relationship takes place in the past, and in the present timeline, they barely talk to each other. They barely talk, and keep in mind, in this book, it's been 3 years since they've communicated, and all of like the stuff that makes it a love story, that shows you that they had feelings for each other, it was all in the past. It was all in the past timeline. Present day, we're not talking at all. We're barely saying anything to each other, and then they just get back together and are in love, and it just it feels so sudden. And I typically don't enjoy past and present timelines in romances. I always like one timeline better. This wasn't even that. They weren't in love in present day, and you cannot convince me that they were. With 3 years of no talking, you cannot convince me that they felt exactly the same way that they did. And if they did, they should have talked about it halfway through the book and not like the last 50 pages. Why are we doing that? Like, they genuinely probably spoke to each other like 7 times in the present. And that's crazy to me. It was a lot of ignoring. There was a lot of like doing stuff for her that showed that he still cared, which I'm all for that, but like not speaking at all is crazy. Like, he can't just be showing that he cares and they don't talk at all present day. That's crazy. That was my biggest gripe, because in the past, like their little love story, whatever, so cute, loved it, whatever, I was excited, and I just kept waiting for the moment where they were gonna like start talking and be like, oh my god, I miss this, like I miss my friend, like it was so good between us, or like them thinking to themselves, oh, I've missed this friendship, like something. But we never got that. We never did, and that's why I gave it a 2 stars. Moving on. Then I finally read Daydream, the 3rd book in the Maple Hills series, by Hannah Grace. This book follows, God, not me forgetting her name. The book is following Henry, who was in the previous books. For some reason, I cannot remember this girl's name. Why is it slipping my mind? Hallie. Henry and Hallie. So this book is following Hallie, and she is a people pleaser to her core. Her whole personality is people pleaser. It's insane. Like, the lengths that this girl goes to please people, it's concerning. Reorganizing her entire schedule to be able to accommodate other people's needs, that was crazy to me. And I know a lot of people are like, that's me, but I don't think so. Like, I don't think most people are doing all that, because at the core, people pleasing is inherently like a selfish thing, because you do it so that people like you and are happy with you, and it's to make yourself feel better, unfortunately. Anyway, this book follows Hallie. Her and her boyfriend have just recently broke up. They've been dating for like a year, but basically everyone's been pushing them together since they were kids, because their families are friends. And he's basically a big douchebag, and he's like, F you, like, you won't sleep with me, so I'm moving on. Like, I can't wait forever, Hallie. And she's like, it's not even been that long. Hello? Jail for him. Send him to jail immediately. I'm scared. We've also got Henry. He's the new captain, and he is not handling it well. He honestly prefers and fantasizes about when he was just a player and not the captain. Like, it obviously all falls so heavily on him. My biggest problem with this book, I will read you my review of this book. The therapy speak constantly was too much, made it exhausting to read. No real conflict, but Henry took a month to think. Like, no contact. Insane. And I fully stand behind that. Was I mad in the moment? Yes. But I fully stand behind it. The therapy speak in this book, it's a bit much. Every single thought, action, and feeling was explained, character to character. They would be like, you only feel this way because you have, like, your subconscious is telling you this and blah blah blah, and like they would go on like this whole thing, and I was like, it was too much. Like, every thought, feeling, and emotion, please stop. And then their relationship was cute. I do agree that it was cute, but it was built so much on a foundation of friendship that it was really hard for me to see them as anything other than friends. And I think that was the problem. It was too much friendship, not enough like emotion. So that was like my biggest problem. And then at the end of the book, or towards the end, they have like, it's not really a conflict, but there is an issue that arises, and Henry takes a month to think, like just to think. They have not broken up, but he is just like, I need a minute. And then takes a month to need a minute, does not reach out to her, does not contact her. they're just going, I would think that someone broke up with me. I would be like, oh, we're broken up now. If somebody didn't talk to me for a month, didn't check in. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. And the funniest review, I will give it to this girl who said that for Christmas, she gave him her virginity. That's hilarious.